Says cover the borrower's unpaid monthly interest, so that unlike other existing income-driven repayments, no borrower's loan balance will grow as long as they make their monthly payments, even when that monthly payment is $0 because their income is low. Now, this is the biggest part, I think, of this entire situation, right? Hello. Welcome back. This is the Drunk Capitalist here, and I got some news for y'all. I'm sure everyone has already heard the news that student loan relief is here. Now, I have never been so happy to be wrong about the government, especially. I really didn't believe it much. I felt like it was a 90% chance, and there's a 10% chance that we'll get the forgiveness. I guess we're falling into that 10% chance. I've said it previously in my other videos that I also owe student loans, and that I wasn't rushing to pay them off. I just wanted to find out what was going to happen, and then I would go ahead and pay them, start paying them off and whatnot. But I made sure that I still kept money to the side to make sure I could pay it off. But let's get into this fact sheet that the White House has released and what all of this actually means and what kind of debt relief we're actually getting out here in these streets. As you know, some people are not too happy about the fact that it's quote unquote only 10,000. It's only 20,000. We should get 50,000. So yeah, back to this. So the fact sheet breaks down everything that is happening with the student loan and all the different caveats to this forgiveness. It gets a little bit of a backstory and all this stuff. We don't really need to get into that. They talk about the cost of attending college has skyrocketed and not kept pace. The federal support has not kept pace, and etc. So now let's go into the actual breakdown. So the Department of Education will provide up to $20,000 in debt cancellation to Pell Grant recipients and loan held by the Department of Education, and up to $10,000 in debt cancellation to non-Pell Grant recipients. So basically, like, if you didn't get the Pell Grant, you're only getting $10,000, and that's also at the caveat of the fact that you make less than $125,000. Now, some people are saying $125,000 is way too high, and then other people are saying that $125,000 is not high enough. I've discussed it plenty times. There are plenty of people who make well into six figures that just do not have any money because they don't know how to handle it. In my personal opinion, I feel like if you have, if you make $125,000 and you can't afford your student loan payments, then it's definitely a spending thing. But again, if you're living in a high cost of living area, $125 usually is not enough based on, the cost of living in that area. But anyway, he creates a different couple rules in regards to the repayment as well. And so the first things first, the loan repayment is going to be extended one final time through December 31st, 2022. So borrowers should expect to resume payment in January 2023. Now, there's another small caveat to that, but we'll get back to that later. Make your student loan system more manageable for current and future borrowers by cutting monthly payments in half for undergraduate loans. So they're going to bring down the cost of the monthly payments for undergrad loans. The Department of Education proposed a new income-driven repayment plan that protects more low-income borrowers from making any payments and caps monthly payments for undergrad loans at 5% of a borrower's discretionary income, half of the rate that borrowers must pay now under most existing plans. This means that the average annual student loan payment will be lowered by more than $1,000 for both current and future borrowers. So basically, they're putting you into the 5% category. You're only going to be paying 5% towards of your discretionary income towards your student loans. And of course, that means your student loans are either going to be like for a 10-year period, 15-year period, or like 20-year period. But it depends on how it was already originally set up. Fixing the broken public service loan forgiveness program by proposing a new rule that borrowers who have worked at a nonprofit, in the military, or in federal, state, tribal, or local government receive appropriate credit toward loan forgiveness. Now, this was a big one because the PSLF program is historically known for the fact that people never received it. Even people who followed all the rules to a T did not receive their forgiveness. They applied and they were denied. Like, hugely. That was a huge thing. Like, they had a court hearing about it with the head of Department of Education and previous head, and figuring out why people were never allowed to receive their forgiveness when they deserved it. Now he's also extending it to people who worked in different public service places. So now more people are eligible for it, and he's loosening the grip on what they can allow, like, deny you for, if that makes sense. So they're getting credit for the fact that they have literally worked in public service, which we know is historically underpaid, but historically overused. So we can't act like our teachers are not teaching our kids, 9 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then act like they don't deserve anything for it. And then obviously people that work in the military who literally protect us overseas and on soil, that they don't deserve anything. The local government is debatable, but there's people that work in the government that aren't all the way up there. They aren't the senators. They aren't the presidents of the United States. So yeah, that helped that situation. And now basically, if you work for public service for any amount of time, you qualify for that forgiveness. Protect future students and taxpayers by reducing the cost of college and holding schools accountable when they hike up prices. So they're going to increase Pell Grants and also hold colleges accountable for their prices. And then by increasing the Pell Grant, he is essentially going to make community college free. And he's going to basically give colleges the obligation to keep their prices reasonable and ensure that the borrowers get the value. So basically, it's kind of going to be like, student loan stabilized, if you will, if you want to borrow from the rent idea of keeping things rent stabilized. They're going to try to stabilize the price of tuition so that from year over year, you're not seeing humongous increases in the price of tuition, because tuition has been inflated over the past 30 to 40 years. Now, next, we go to debt relief, fulfilling the president's campaign commitment. So yeah, he's basically addressing a bunch of different things, and he's showing you what it's really doing and for who. And it says nearly all Pell Grant recipients come from families with incomes of $60,000 or less. So yeah, the people who are going to receive the $20,000 are people who receive the Pell Grant, and the people who receive Pell Grants historically have been people at the lowest of incomes. So I feel like that shows a clear understanding of how wealth is generated and how things happen and why people take out student loans in the first place. And if you come from a low income family that is extremely low income, and when you fill out the FAFSA, it tells you like, hey, your family is expected to contribute $0 because y'all are so under the threshold for income that we don't even consider that your family as helping you because they don't have enough money. So you get the full Pell Grant in those cases. Those people are coming from obviously non-wealthy families. So even if they were to be making, say, $75,000 or $80,000 after college, they don't have anything to fall back on. So that shows an understanding of how what is going on systemically in society and how they aim to solve that. And I think that was probably one of the better deals out of it, rather than going across the board and just saying, okay, everyone gets $10,000 off. Like, that makes way more sense. It gives people that were already at the lowest an extra step up, and it doesn't make them surpass people that have more money, but it gives them an extra leg up. What's up next? It cancels the full remaining balance for nearly 20 million people. So 20 million people will not have any student loans anymore. And it really targets low and middle income borrowers. And 90% of the borrowers make less than $75,000 a year. So he's just sweeping he's sweeping the floor and being like, look, listen, everybody that really doesn't have money is really gonna get the benefit. I wanted to bring up another thing because, like I said before, I felt like one of the biggest things that we had to do was continue the 0% interest. And there's a part that gets into that. So it goes it's around here. So it says cover the borrower's unpaid monthly interest, so that unlike other existing income-driven repayments, no borrower's loan balance will grow as long as they make their monthly payments, even when that monthly payment is $0 because their income is low. Now, this is the biggest part, I think, of this entire situation, right? In order to mitigate all types of things. He's basically trying to guarantee us that the student loans won't continue to explode with interest, while also making sure that people have an incentive to pay the loan at this exact same time. So basically, if your monthly payment is $0 because you don't make enough money, and that's where you qualify under the income-driven repayment plan, then your loan won't continue to grow exponentially. It won't grow at all. They'll quote unquote cover the monthly payment of the interest. Now, if in your income driven repayment plan you do have to pay money, as long as you're paying for each month, as long as you're paying what you owe each month, no interest will accrue. That is perfect. That's what you need for people to hurry up and just pay this money down, and let's just put this behind us. Like, let's be real. Like, a lot of people's problems is that they love minimum payments, and minimum payments just creates more interest for whoever is servicing your loan to collect. So you need to get the principal down as fast as possible to get out from underneath the debt. And I feel like adding this caveat of covering the borrower's unpaid monthly interest is literally like the biggest key to this whole thing, aside from obviously forgiving $10,000 to $20,000. You know what I'm saying? But basically he just aims to like simplify the whole process and give everybody, some type of relief. And I get it. A lot of it is really just paying for votes because they really don't have to do it. But it looks bad because he did promise it. It looks bad because you gave it to, big businesses when the situation happened with the thing that spread around the globe. So, it's a big deal. It's a huge step forward. And I feel like, people are still going to complain and say, oh, it's not enough. And then some people are going to complain and say, woe is me. I didn't go to college. This is unfair. And, none of these people are really wrong. But this is what it is. This is who we voted for. This is what we asked for. This is what we got. This is just how it goes down. I didn't believe it at first that it was going to happen. And I prepared for it to not happen. And it happened anyway. and I'm still gonna be grateful, and I'm gonna eat my words, and I'm gonna be grateful and be happy that I'm getting a couple $1,000s off of my student loans. Y'all see how much I owe. I have it. It's clearly on there. I didn't know that my debt-free journey was going to be going this direction, and I don't mind. It is what it is. Life comes with ups and it comes with downs. It's just your responsibility to be prepared in both situations. You need to be prepared when it's on the up and up, and you need to be prepared when it's on the down. So that's all I got to say about this. But side note, I know that some people feel as though that forgiving the loans will make people even more soft in life and feel like they deserve things for forgiveness. And I still have in the back of my mind different conspiracy and having the feeling like the government is making people more and more dependent on the government to solve all the problems. But that's a conversation for a different day. Today's a good day. We finally got something that we asked for, and I feel like it's in one of the best forms possible. It checks a lot of boxes, and it covers a lot of things we are afraid of. So thank you guys for watching. I hope your student loan is forgiven. I hope your wife or your husband or your sister, your mother, your brother, your cousin, your auntie, I hope they student loans are partially forgiven or completely forgiven. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. It's the Drunk Capitalist. Peace.